Welcome back. Today we're diving into the world of semi-professional football in Belize. At the forefront is the Premier League of Belize, which is the highest level professional football league in the country. The league consists of 8 teams across the country competing in a season that runs from August to May. To shed more light on the dynamics of semi-professional football in Belize, we have in studio Mr. Marvin Ottley. So first of all, just to give a background on football, Belize has competed in games locally and internationally, but has never qualified for a FIFA World Tournament. Nevertheless, the team also known as the Jaguars qualified in 2012 for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Belize's international ranking is 181 out of a total of 211. Belize's highest ranking was 114 in April and June 2016. Locally, teams have competed in the Premier League and local championships like the Belize Cup. So, Mr. Marvin, in studio, I know that you're the Deputy Director of the Belize National Sports Council and also a veteran in the world of football.
Yes, I'm the Deputy Director for the National Sports Council, which does allow me to do a lot of work with all the disciplines across the country. We have 41 registered association federations in the country with the National Sports Council. Of course, there is some other small discipline that is not registered with us, but the encouragement is to get everybody registered with the National Sports Council.
First of all, I find it quite interesting that since 2012, the national team has had 11 managers. Is this a concern for the current team and future representations?
Great point, because it's a good start, because very important. Back in 2020, the federation, the Football Federation, have invested in 4 local coaches. That allows us to, I am one of those 4, along with Dale Pelayo, Mr. Philip Marin, and there was an intern here in Belize by the name of Jonathan Hooper. And so we all acquired our B license through CONCACAF, which gave us the opportunity that we could have worked with the national selections. I'm the only coach not employed by the federation. Truly, having 11 coaches over a span of time shows that we are not, maybe the federation is not really focusing on what is important, is to develop the national team to a level whereby that could become a key income earner for the federation. And then farther on, if we see we could reach qualifiers basically in regards to the Gold Cup and the World Cup, then we could bring in a little bit higher expertise in order to push us over the hill, so to speak. I think that should be the way it can be done. Most of the Caribbean countries have done it that way, and we are seeing great success from them. So
that's interesting. That's excellent. We know that the Football Federation in Belize is the regulating body of football in our country.
Yes.
Could you tell us how this is related to the league, and also give us a quick overview of how the games operate in the league?
Well, the league, you will call it, so to speak, an investment league. If there is 8 top clubs in the country, and those 8 clubs played at the Premier League level, which is the highest level of football under the federation. All of those are privately owned. So the league itself is a private investment from owners influx into football. All 8 teams have to play what is called a double round robin, and then they go to a qualifying round, which is the semifinals, and then they go to the finals. What that does is it gives you an opportunity to qualify to the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is played within the region. So Belize, we are dubbed with all the other Central American countries to qualify in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and then the winner from that cup goes on to what is called the CONCACAF Champions League. That's with the US, the Canada, the Mexico, and those teams. So our run of football in Belize is a qualifier to the Champions Cup.
Okay, interesting. How are the teams funded in the league, and also who represents our players?
Very important. The league itself, I always dub it as a $1 million league. My understanding just a few weeks ago that we are spending now through investment, direct investment in the league, that the owners are spending something over like $1.4 million a year. So how that come about? If you're an owner of a club, your job and responsibility is to try and see how you could get sponsorship to come into that respective club. There is some success story in regards to areas like Cayo, Verdes, Benque, Independence, San Pedro. They are not playing in this tournament presently, but also in Belize City, where we have the largest population. We haven't had a club for a period of time, but over the last 3 seasons, there is now what is called Port Loyola from Belize City. So the owners, they make that investment into the club, and they try and see how through sponsorship they could generate back some money to help keep it afloat. That's how it works, simply. But within all 8 owners, and along with the league, they're spending something over, just close to about $1.4 million each year.
So we're going to switch gears a bit. How has the attendance been this season? Has it improved since the last season?
Well, yes. In Belize City, yes. The answer is yes. In Cayo, Benque, the answer is also yes. In Independence, that is the same. I just found out just last week that Orange Rock now have been back on a rise in regards to fan turnout. Very key. All the clubs that come from a respective district area, they have been doing very well in regards to fans turnout. So Independence, which is altitude, Benque have 2 clubs play out of Benque. They have very strong support. It's almost, to my understanding, of the 7 home games, they have almost clocked 6 sold out matches at their home game. So that is very good and healthy for those respective clubs. In Belize City, it's a little bit different, simply because the team come from one area, and then you have to source fan base from all over the city. So it's a little bit more complex in Belize City, but it has been on the rise. Why? To my understanding is because we have a very competitive league since we come back out of COVID.
So you mentioned that football is on the rise. It's improving in terms of attendance, but what are some other metrics used to determine the success or growth of the league besides attendance, looking at maybe revenues or merchandise sales? Is there, what in particular would the league look at?
Two very important parts. Merchandising. I think the club owners, in my view, is a little bit scared because maybe they don't have the level of fan base to sell the amount of merchandise they will really want to make a package more sellable. If I could go back into a little bit of history, there was once a jersey company from El Salvador who wanted to sponsor the league. But at the time, we couldn't prove to them that we could have sell an amount of jersey for a period of time. So that in regards to merchandising is very important. But that have to be the way we go. Lionel Messi announced that he's going to Miami, and by the next morning, 300,000 shirts have been already sold across the world. So that have to be the way we go. In regards to sponsorship, which is different because sometimes in football, people don't understand that ownership and sponsorship is 2 different things. People believe that if the owner have money, he doesn't need any sponsorship. And that is not the fact. The fact is that every club need a level of serious investment through sponsorship in order to keep them afloat all the time. So that is very much missing. Those 2 parts are very much missing. I think the marketing of the league, so that people could understand how much, how viable is the league, how strong is the competition, those are very key.
Okay, before we wrap up, could you tell us where you see the league 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would want that 1 year from now, that the league probably could find. Two things are very much missing from the league. One is what is considered a technical director who could improve the football throughout the league itself. And then two, a marketing person who could light a fire under all the owners that we could attract the kind of business necessary to keep the league afloat. In competitiveness, if we could improve the game on the field, certainly we could definitely improve the receipts at the gates.
So this was a very good discussion, Mr. Ottley, and thank you for joining us. We look forward to hearing a lot of good news from our football in Belize.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
When we return, we will be joining Destiny with our Innovator of the Week, so don't go away.